Dudes to Dads is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we're back.
We're back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads. And as you can see, Alan, we have a very special guest in the building,
in the
as
studio.
we should say. Yeah. So we had a previous episode with my son because I just thought it would be cool to, not only just talk about a topic, but, have something even like selfishly to record and like looking back at 10 years from now, to kind of.
Well, he taught me off the table, Mabel. What was that?
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that he teaches me every day.
Yeah.
But here we have my daughter.
Yeah.
And so Farrah, go ahead and say hello.
Hi, my name's Farrah.
we rehearsed that one.
Yeah.
How old are you, Farrah?
6.
6. Okay. So Farrah is going to sit in with us today. Maybe have a couple comments on some of the things that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
The episode for today is what to do when your kids get angry.
Okay.
So this is a topic that I think is really important for parents to understand, and for many different reasons. One, toddlers, infants even, toddlers, and then young children often get really, really angry. And I mean, like any of us.
I think everyone gets.
But the difference is theirs is for different reasons, right, typically, and also we handle it differently.
Sure.
And the idea is, how can we handle it so that we keep our sanity and we also help the child.
Sure.
That's really the purpose of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I really think there's probably a couple steps to kind of just start with. Is first just figuring out, why is the child unhappy and why are they upset and that kind of thing. But really it's about helping the kids manage their anger.
Okay, so you want to give them the right tips and tricks.
Yeah, it's tips and tricks of like, how can we help them manage anger? Yeah. Now, for many of us, we may have our own problems with managing anger.
Well, and a lot of parents do.
Right.
So.
I mean, in general, it's an issue for, a lot of people. So the idea that we can help them manage it, it might even help ourselves.
Right.
And
sure.
And I think, that's what it was interesting when I went through parenting classes. It's not even so much like how you're helping the child.
Yeah.
It's how are you helping yourself so that you can deal with the child in a certain manner. And that was a really big kind of eye-opening thing. I was like, oh, maybe I'll know how to do this, this, and this for my child. But that's not even really it. It's like, how am I going to affect, how is it affecting me and how can I handle it differently?
Right.
So that was something that was important.
Sure.
So, and I got some of these tips. Dr. Laura Markham, which I've mentioned before, she is awesome. I was reading some information about it from her. She wrote a book, Peaceful Parents, Happy Kids. Great advice on how to deal with anger. Yeah. So Farrah, are you ready to talk about anger?
Yes.
Okay. And so I wanted to ask you, Farrah, there was something that we had talked about where you had mentioned to me about you got upset. You get upset sometimes and you weren't sure sort of how to handle it. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the ways that maybe you can handle it. But why don't you tell me about the idea you had about the 2-week challenge that you came up with? So what was that?
2-week challenge.
This was a 2-week challenge. She actually came to me when we were talking. We started talking.
Wait, how old are you again?
6.
6.
Yeah.
And she's giving you advice?
She's
That's perfect.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So what was this about? Why don't you tell us what this was about?
So I was kind of being mean to my brother. So I thought I would do a 2-week challenge for my whole family because they've been being mean to my family. So, and then if they do it for the 2 weeks, they have to keep doing it and then if they don't do it, they have to keep restarting.
So yeah, go ahead.
Well, what is the challenge? What do you have to do for 2 weeks?
You have to be nice for the whole 2 weeks.
So what made you think of that? What made you think of that though? You said okay, I'm not being nice to my brother. And
my mom and dad.
Okay. And you said, but you wanted to be nice. So you kind of realized, you said, I really do want to be nice. but you said you were having some feelings that weren't feeling very good inside, where you were getting mad and you were getting angry, and you wanted to change that. Is that kind of what you're saying? Okay. So she came to me and said, Dad, this is amazing. But yeah, it said, I want to do this challenge. And I said, that's incredible. I don't know where you got this. It must be her mom. No?
Where'd you get it from? Just out of your thin air?
I made it up.
You made it up.
Yeah.
See?
I mean, and so the idea, I thought, you know what, that's actually a great topic for a podcast. It's like, because obviously she even herself recognized it, although, we may point out and saying, hey, you seem upset right now or something like that. But one of the things that was interesting was the feelings of not knowing kind of how to control it.
Right.
And that was something, because you said, Farrah, that you felt mad, but you didn't know how to control that. Right. So that was, for people on video, they can see the nod of the head. You just have to say yes or no. Yeah. Because we are filming this. Yeah. So one of the things, one of the tips was to first, as for the parent, is to just take a deep breath. So when something is about to escalate, you immediately pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that it's not necessarily an emergency.
Right.
And so you can, when you start to identify that there's something building, you can cut it off beforehand. Sure. you get it beforehand. So that's something that is, it's really important that when you keep yourself calm, that typically keeps them calm.
Yeah.
So Farrah, when you get really upset, do you like it when I get really upset back at you, or do you like when I keep calm?
When you keep calm.
Okay. So that makes it easier for you then. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So that's something that's obviously important.
Sure,
the child realizes no, I mean, I don't know that a child might say, no, I like it better when you get upset too. But, kids,
both be crazy.
But kids don't like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's, and a person wouldn't, an adult wouldn't either.
Oh,
if someone's coming at you mad, or you're mad, or they're mad, or whatever, and then, that's what escalates it, versus when you're upset and your significant other or a friend is pretty calm.
Yeah.
You're it kind of diffuses you. There's not much there.
I remember in college, I was talking to a friend of mine about something, and we were just having a discussion, but it was very, and I was getting loud and loud and loud, and he goes, okay. And then I just was oh, I should probably be quiet. So him just being quiet.
Took the wind out of the sail.
Took the wind out of it, yeah. So it totally works that way.
Yeah, so that's something. The other, number 2, remind yourself that tantrums are nature's way of helping small people let off steam. Mm-hmm. So they don't really understand when someone's an infant or even a toddler or even small child, and let's say up to the, I don't know, even teenagers don't know sometimes how to regulate it, and adults we don't. But they're learning how to manage that anger and sort of let off the steam.
Yeah.
Even as adults, we really don't do that well. So one of the things which we talk about is empathy. And empathy works really, really well in this kind of situation.
Right.
So, knowing that, even when Farrah had said, when I get upset and I'm feeling this way, but I really don't even know why. Yeah. I don't know what this feeling is. It's they're not really there to understand it. She's 6 and even pretty mindful of things. It's still not being aware of what's going on.
Right.
So the other thing is number 3. Remember that anger comes from our flight or freeze response. Mm-hmm. So basically, that is, they can feel like the world is coming down on them, and it feels so overwhelming. And so they're really kind of trying to protect themselves from feeling hurt.
Right.
It's a protection mechanism.
Sure.
Or, like I said, it feels like it's so overwhelming. We talked about the shoes. Do you remember Farrah, how upset you got when you couldn't find your shoes? Yeah?
Yes.
And you got really upset because for you were upset that you couldn't find your shoes. You were going to school, and she was saying, I'm not going to have my shoes for school. And that was a big deal in her world.
Yeah.
For me, not a big deal.
Right.
But I have to put myself in her shoes, and no pun intended.
Yeah, right.
That was good. Yeah. Did I rehearse that? Yeah. I've got to do that so that I can understand, wow, that actually was a big deal to her, and she's letting off this energy and the steam. That's how she does it. Mm-hmm. So that was something that was important.
Yeah.
So number 4, set whatever limits are necessary to keep everyone safe while acknowledging the anger and staying compassionate. So I'll give you an example is, saying to the child, you can stomp your feet and show me how mad you are, but I'm not going to let you hit me, or I won't let you hit me. Hitting is not okay. So Farrah, what is something that we do or that you were taught to do when you get really, really upset?
Hold your shirt.
Remember? Yeah.
Punch our punching bags.
Yeah.
You have a punching bag? You get the.
We have now 3.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're in martial arts, so it's
You do martial arts too?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. What martial art you do? Is it karate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it help you with the anger? You get mad at something?
Kempo Jiu-Jitsu.
Uh-oh.
Kempo Jiu-Jitsu.
She's looking to an audience member.
Yeah, we got it.
That's okay.
And Tiger Claws.
Yes.
Tiger Claw. Cool.
Yeah. So that's
You
something,
and your brother do it, yeah?
Yeah. So that's something that we have tried to do instead of.
What is it?
Blue belt.
Blue belt? You going to blue belt? You got what are the belt
testing
levels?
shortly.
Yeah.
White,
Yellow.
yellow, orange, purple, blue.
You already up to blue?
And then there's another blue, and then 2 greens, and then 3 browns, and then black. And then there's a candidate,
Yeah.
and then black belt.
Black belt. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So that's how you let off steam, is do the martial arts? Wow, you guys are more trained than I am.
Yeah.
I used to do martial arts for a little bit, but not like that.
Yeah. Part of it, and the martial arts is great for that discipline and stuff. But,
Sure.
the idea of just whether it is holding their shirt, and I learned that sort of technique from the classes that I was going through.
In the martial arts, you would hold your gi.
Yeah. It's just the idea that, you want to let out the anger.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody else and they said that, with their kids, they always, and they're now older, but they were teaching them to just shake it out. Like, so you'd go in the other room and actually just shake, and it's whatever physical type of thing.
Yeah.
Because you still want to feel like you're letting it out. So that grip or that punch to a pillow or something like that to allow that anger to actually come out versus just keeping it in.
Right.
Because you want them to feel okay with that emotion.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to have anger. It's just, how do you manage it and how do you channel it so that you're not the person who's hitting the wall and breaking something or throwing something or doing something like that.
I used to be that person. Trust me.
Yeah, we all get
person.
angry and it's going to happen. It's just how do you manage that and deal with that?
For sure.
So that's really important. That's really an important thing. Number 5, set the limits on actions only and not on the feelings. So that's kind of what I was saying where, I'm sorry, this is so hard. You're saying I don't understand you. That must be, terrible and lonely. So once again, you're still doing and acknowledging the feelings. You're just limiting what they can do and saying like, hey, it's not okay to hit or, doing that kind of thing.
Right.
The other one, very specifically of keeping yourself safe. So saying, I see that you're angry. Let them hit, you can hit the pillow. Just, you're not going to hit me. It's kind of that same thing, but you've got to back off. I mean, if a child is that upset, you do have to back off. So one of the things that's also number 7 is staying as close as you can. So you might say to the child, you know what? I know you don't want me here right now, so I'm going to back off. I'm going to step over here. And yet, if you need a hug, when you're ready to hug or when you're ready to talk, or I'm right here for you.
Sometimes hugs help. I think most of the time they do.
Yeah.
But sometimes at that moment you don't want to.
No.
I'm just mad.
And they don't. And a lot of times, like a smaller child may even to like, get out of here, or I don't want to talk to you, or whatever. And you say, you know what? I understand you're really upset right now. I'm going to go walk over here. And when you're ready, then, I'll talk to you. So you also, it's not abandoning them, saying, okay, get out of here, or I'm leaving. They're going to then learn and that when somebody's upset or when you're upset to just bail.
Right.
Like that's what you do. You just walk out of the room.
Yeah.
Now you could say, well, I'm gonna be over there to cool off, or I'm to calm down. I'm gonna breathe or do that. There's no question. It's the monkey see, monkey do. So as a parent, you have to recognize that it's not only are you trying to calm them down, they are watching how you handle this. you will be amazed at how much they do what you do.
I was at a party and I realized that this is a child probably about Farrah's age. Was so well behaved as Farrah is as well. Yeah. And her mom was a child counselor or something, some kind of therapist. So it was very reflective on how she handled things as how her child handled things as well. Yeah.
And even if as a parent, you think of things that way, sometimes it's a lot easier because it kind of takes the pressure off of you. Right. Or sometimes it can create pressure too, but it's basically like, okay, what do I want to teach my child right here? Like, forget about the discipline, forget about I know that they're watching me. How do I want them to act? Well, that's how I need to act. Right.
Yeah.
It is
for sure.
And that's the thing. You've got to do that. So number 8 is don't try to reason or explain. So it's not a teaching moment. When their kid is really angry, it's not the time where you're going to say, hey, this is a teaching moment. I'm going to show you how to, do something. It's basically what you're showing them is what they're going to learn, which I just talked about. But that's, don't try to explain it. Don't try to teach. Don't try to do any of that. So Farrah, I was asking you, when I'm really upset, and I'm upset if I get upset at you and then you get really upset, do you, are you listening when we do that?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Right. So
Listen to your mom.
What's that?
I
Or
never
mom.
listen to your mom.
You do?
I said I don't.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I listen to my mom, but not my dad. Yeah, no.
No.
Oh, do you want to clarify? What did you mean?
I mean, I don't listen to.
When you're upset, you don't listen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's straight from the horse's mouth. Right there.
Exactly.
That's
what I meant. Okay.
That's what a child, being honest, they say. I mean, they're not listening, as do we. If we're getting yelled at, we're not listening.
Right.
We may do something out of fear.
Yeah.
Which
Or if you're and more so when you're upset, you're not listening to someone trying to tell you what to do.
Right.
Yeah. At that point.
And so number 9, don't try to evaluate whether they're overreacting. They are overreacting. They're just not familiar with how to handle stuff.
Sure.
So, is it an overreaction? You'll hear parents, they stop being so dramatic, or they're such a drama queen, or whatever it is, being very critical of that. And the truth is that will, that'll kind of, it sets them up to feel critical and to not, to sort of feel criticized. And so I don't think that's a great feeling, to do that. So just, it's funny. That was the other point, was when a child overreacts, we call it a meltdown or a tantrum.
Like at the running club once. I threw that meltdown.
Sure. I'm saying,
Since I lost my card.
yeah, things happen. Things happen where you get upset. Like you said, you get upset and you may melt down or you may have a tantrum or something like that. But when adults do it, we call it being stressed out.
Yeah, we can call it a meltdown with adults too.
True.
I honestly think that there isn't that much distinction between when kids have it and when adults have it, especially when there's adults that react in that manner. When they
true.
Freak out and blow up or whatever those things.
Right,
basically
right.
regressing back to when we were that age.
Right.
And things weren't as easy to deal with.
Right. No, for sure. And then number 10, acknowledging their anger will help them calm down. So, this is a great line, something like this, like, I'm so sorry you can't have that toy that you want. I know this is really, or I'm sorry this is so hard. I know you really wanted that. So you're basically acknowledging the feeling without saying like, no, you can't have it. It's just being that other episode we had where we had, 50 ways to say no.
Right.
You're just really saying, hey, listen, I know you really want that. I understand that's frustrating. And that's it.
Yeah.
Just that acknowledgement alone is like, oh, they understand me. Like that's the thought process.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and everyone wants that.
Right.
Everyone wants acknowledgement.
And what is that? Empathy.
Yeah, exactly.
It all comes back
exactly.
to empathy.
Empathy.
Exactly.
You like empathy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not that much.
So, Farrah, what do you think we're going to do with this challenge?
That means, but okay.
Yeah. So what do you think we're going to do with this challenge? So you challenged the entire family that for 2 weeks we have to be nice. Okay. So what happens if we're not nice during that 2 weeks?
You have to restart.
So you have to restart and go over again.
Do you have to do 2 more weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the only penalty, though.
You need to restart if you can't do it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. That seems pretty reasonable.
Fair. Yeah, exactly.
Fair is being fair. You're the rule maker, right? You make the rules in our house.
Yep. So you guys all need to listen to me.
All right. See, she's definitely my kin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
On the fast track.
Well, awesome. So, Farrah, I want to thank you for coming in and helping us.
No problem.
Yeah. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right.
I mean, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being polite.
Yeah, no, that's right. So, Alan, on behalf of yourself,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf
Thank
of
you, Farrah, for
yourself,
coming
does
in.
that make sense? On behalf of you, I guess that's what I was saying is thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how the best way to articulate that. It's only 70-something episodes in, but I'm finally getting it. And Farrah, thank you very much for coming in. If anyone has any feedback or comments, podcast@dudestodads.com. Certainly, we would appreciate reviews.
Yep.
Twitter.
What are we at Twitter? What do you think we're at?
Do you know our Twitter handle, Farrah?
I don't even know what that means.
Well, you,
Awesome.
know, you know what Dudes to Dads is? So what do you think at Twitter? Dudes to Dads? iTunes. Dudes to Dads, maybe?
Podcast?
Yeah, podcast. Dudes to Dads.
There you go.
There you go.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. And that's it. And Facebook. Yeah, Facebook.
Facebook, dudesdads.com.
Dudesdads.com. So with that, Alan, thank you. Farrah, thank you, which I've already said, but I'll say it again because I really love you, Farrah, and thank you for being here. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
See you next week.
All right. See you.
See you next week.